Hello there, everybody. So it's been a little while since I've done a YouTube video. I'm going to see about maybe pre-recording a few and trying to get at least one out a week. But I thought we would do a video. We'd talk about my book. We'd talk about behind the scenes of the book. We'd talk about some of the meanings, some of the energies, the process a little bit. My gratitude for how wonderful everybody has been with regards to the release of the first ever Joey Morris book. There are more in the works. There are more being worked on right now. But the overarching reception has been amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you again. My huge gratitude, and I'm blown away. I'm out of words, really, for the people that have supported me through this, the people who have been there every step, the people who have helped me with the getting it published part, the people who have bought the book, the people who've done reviews already. It's just been wonderful, and I'm still in the process of getting some of the last batch out. There's going to be more. It's not a problem, but I'm in the process of doing that. Also, you may have noticed we're playing with another wig today, slightly different colour. I'm not sure about this one yet. I'm not sure if I dig it or not. It's definitely not beating the pink one for me, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I have a little kind of dark mermaid thing going on. So before I get into all of that, and I am going to tell a couple of stories from reviews and things people have told me and reception, and then going beyond Songs of Shades, going into the back of it, and again some juice. Some juice. I don't know what this is. We've gone French. Oh no, it's all gone downhill. Right. So just to update everybody about some of the stuff that's been going on. The store has been kind of cray busy. I'm due to actually take a holiday as of this weekend for a week, and it's just been cray. But we've got some incredible new things on the store, including the book, including a Morrigan audio course, which kind of goes alongside the book. And that was a very specific e-lesson, if you like, mini e-course of an hour that was about Morrigan and blood and sacrifice. There is going to be an upcoming, much bigger, much more in-depth of Bone and Dirt course, and that's going to be a full course. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of meat. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of insight. There's a lot of different medias to interact with. That's going to be a full course, and I'm just trying to get that done before I go on holiday at the end of the week. So there's that, and then there's new products. We've launched the Starry Incense Sticks. Now, I had been reluctant to do incense sticks for years because a lot of people already do incense sticks. And I was like, well, it's not really, something very my own. I had that kind of vibe about it. So what I've actually done is I've decided to only go with Starry signature scents. So Blade of Shield was the first one, which is perhaps the most famous from the store. That's the Morrigan Protection Oil. I also have been doing sprays. The Morrigan spray is actually in the other room because I had a big cleanse yesterday, day before, and I was just using my Blade Over Shield aura spritz, room spritz, whatever you want to call it. It's a spritzy spray. It's a non-smoke alternative. And I could really feel the power, and it's pumping, and I'm really pleased with it. For the stickies, we've also got Temple of Witches, which has just come out too. Temple of Witches is a smudge which a lot of people really love. So it's now going to be available in sticky form, sticky incense form. Then we've got a couple of new anointing oils. This one is the carriage room one. And if you can see the liquids down here, I've made this one for me because I love it so much. So I've been wearing it almost every day, and it kind of fits into the Shapeshifting vibe of this month. I'm going to have a separate video just to update about Patreon and things, just to let people know what's happening with Patreon and some shifting that I've been doing just to manage it, bit of keeping. But that's by the by. Let's jump into Songs of Shades. So this is Songs of Shades. If you have not already seen it, you may well have at this point. The cover art is by the absolutely gorgeous Molly Roberts, who kind of asked me if I would like her to design me a piece, and I was like, yes, please, that would be amazing. And she did a beautiful job, and I think we'll talk a little bit about the cover art first, because there were some different ideas, and I gave her kind of a vibe, and she created this moth image. There was another one, but I was like, I really want the moth. Whether you guys have, sorry, microphone, slap the microphone, slap it. Have you been with me for some time? Slap. Spankies, I got nothing. But if you've been with me for a little while, you might have seen a couple of the moth videos or the moth blog posts over on starryeyesupplies.com/blog, Mask of the Moth, and then there's Bave, an odd journey to the underworld with foxes and moths. So moths is from my personal kenosis and is something that I heavily connected to the goddess Bave of the Morrigan. This is something from my personal kenosis. I went and had a look everywhere at the time, and I couldn't find any references to it anywhere when I first came across it. And I made videos and I talked about it. And so the moth became a kind of synonymous with part of trusting my path, part of trusting my connection to the goddess Bave, even when it wasn't what other people said it would look like, even when the animal itself wasn't necessarily in the existing mythos, the mythology that we have left. And it was kind of a risk at that point, because there are people that will come for you if you step outside of what the usual correspondences and things are, and say, well, actually, I've had this experience, this is why, this is some of the rationale. I go into moth imagery and energy and magic and things much deeper in the videos that are already done and the blog post. So I don't think it's worth wasting huge amounts of time on that when we're talking about going behind the book. So when Molly came to me with this beautiful cover art with this night sky, the starriness for the starry-eyed little lady, and this kind of moth goddess gorgeousness, I was like, that's the one. And it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. So I've had a couple of people ask me, why did you call it Songs of Shades rather than Song of Shade or whatever? So shades here kind of has multiple meanings. It's obviously channeling the dark goddess. So that's the first thing. And there are many shades of the dark goddess. It's not one way of seeing the world. It's not one way of seeing deity. I've used dark goddess, even though the phrase is a little bit squicky with me, because it's labeling things as light and dark is problematic for me. So calling it shades, it's like all shades of spirituality, worked for me. Also shades in terms of the Phantom Queen, Bave being the Phantom Queen, and shades within that kind of spirit death element fit really well with my personal practice. So I kind of liked the interplay of those different things. And channeling the dark goddess is because this is not simply just a book of poetry. I've heard that too, when people are like, it's just a book of poetry. And Chris is calling. God damn it, Chris. Chris, no. Chris, you can't. I'm talking to people. Shh. Shh, Chris. Shh, Chris. Shh. I'm not even going to edit it out, Chris. You'll be on this. So it's not simply a book of poetry, as I've heard it called. It goes beyond that. Yes, the messages, the channeling of these goddess energies, and some other songs too, are definitely poetic in form, and bringing forth this in poetic form is just a natural part of who I am. I've been writing poetry for a very long time, but I channel it. It's not just me being like da 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 done. It's created in sacred space. It's created with a channeling. It's created a connection. Chris, stop it! No. She's determined, that one. Bad Chris Spankies. 1 second, everybody. 1 second. 1 second. Chris has now been told. So I go into this ritual, I go into sacred space, I connect with deity, I conduit. This is something that I do. Some people have called it shamanic, some people have called it all sorts of things. But to be honest, it's just a natural part of my spiritual process. Some people are really against the idea that you can draw on and connect with and hear messages from different gods and goddesses, and you're not allowed to do that because you don't work in depth with them. For me, being a conduit is one of the following things. It's firstly, it's just a natural part of who I am, and it's something that the Morrigan permits in she is my matron. I work primarily with her. From time to time, there'll be interactions with different deities, different energies, different spirits. But conduiting is kind of honoring the interconnectedness of the spiritual ecosystem. It's honoring the messages that need to be heard. Sometimes these messages are conduited for people specifically. So if somebody is having like a set made, then you, like a physical spell set made. I don't have anything on hand, but other than, anointing oil, it's right there. But it's a good point. So this would be for Ceridwen. So that would be connecting to the energies of Ceridwen, the lessons, the messages, the feeling, the vibration, the words that come, the shapes that come, the scents that come, the poetry kind of ekes from all of these images. It's sometimes quite visceral, sometimes visual, sometimes it's all of the senses interplaying. And honestly, it's sometimes with the poetry, it's almost like a mild possessive state. It's like conduiting down the spirit in question and writing what's being spoken and being heard and being felt. So at the same time, it's me and the connection to the spiritual ecosystem as well. So that's why channeling the Dark Goddess. Now, I am actually going to talk about the dedication. So the dedication was for Sisters Under the Dark Goddess, for a Sister of Blood, my sister Sarah Tript, for a Sister of Dirt, Marlene Robertson, Sister of Bone, Chris Ashburn, women who show me that anything's possible and to always keep fighting. Now, I had many, many people who I could have actually put in the dedication for this book, as well as these three amazing women. But these three amazing ladies have had a huge impact on my life personally, like in a personal sphere as well as a public sphere, and have shown me strength and to keep fighting, and that we're all human, and that we all struggle from time to time. The energy behind the book is, if you haven't heard it, it's to open up paths to spiritual elevation and wholeness. We live in a world that feels isolated and shallow. We sometimes yearn for a connection that unites us and opens up doorways of journeys of soul. Songs of Shades is such a manuscript filled with soul-kissed messages. Many of the words within speak of tenacity, survival, and resilience, finding a way to resist when life feels as though it is crushing you underfoot. With the Dark Goddess's help, not only can we resist troubled times, we can alchemize them into something powerful and beautiful. Always find the liminal in-between spaces, my friends. Be fluxy. And to dedicate this book to these three women made a lot of sense for the first book to be. This is Songs of Goddess, and these three women are goddesses in their own right, and they have been there for me, and It's not just been there in terms of like physically been there. It's very much about that they have been there through thick and thin. They have offered me praise, but they have also offered me censure when I needed it. And I have done that for them too. And it's a good, balanced tribe kind of relationship, something to venerate and honor. And that's why these three women were dedicated in the beginning. I also have a little quote from the Morrigans, poetess in Catalreid of Rachmanah. We will try and say it in the Irish. I probably butcher it knowing me. Ambanscientisiem. I am a female satirist indeed. So there's actually words where Morrigan basically calls herself a poetress, and she delivers prophecy in that form. So then the energies of the book are actually separated into different songs. They're not called poems, they're called songs. Firstly, you could sing them quite easily, but they're also really beautiful spoken, and this is intentional. I speak a lot of them. I have recorded myself speaking some of them too, because the meaning that is traversed in speech, in voice, gives it the power. And as the spoken words of the songs of shades were spoken unto me, and I heard them and saw them and discerned them from the images and messages that I received, so too can the messages be spoken by other people from the words that are there before them and taken into ritual, taken into spell work. And there are ritual works included. It's not just the poetry, there are rituals suggested. So the different sections are songs of the warriors, songs of the phantoms, songs of the healers, songs of the witches, songs of the priestess, songs of the shapeshifter. Now, the different sections just kind of naturally fell that way. A lot of the Morrigan work actually ended up being in the warrior section, including a dedication to the goddess Morrigan as the very first song. Now, that's the very first song because that's me dedicating this book to the goddess Morrigan, who is my matron. And we can read that. We can read that. Dedication to the goddess Morrigan, Songs of Warriors. And so, Mother, I found myself on bloodied knees, singing of your reverence, unafraid of the bruises that mar my skin, unhampered by the thorns that pierce or the roots that bind, for they are fleeting distractions for those of corvid wings. The blue on my skin turns to spirals, swathing through flesh and bone, for amidst the sundering somewhere I will become whole. Though I am shattered glass, broken yet piercing, I am stillness in your eyes, a reflection of you. My teeth bare to the world, a snarl passes my lips, as I long for freedom, to run as intended, unhampered by mortal ties. And so it is to you, Mother Morrigan, I bend on bloodied knee, asking your benevolence and wrath. Fashion me into a braver soul, break down my resistance, teach me how to soar again and howl back into the darkness. So the warriors is the first energy that you are greeted with when you come and interact with Songs of Shades. And I really felt that this was necessary because the book kind of wanted me to present it as twofold: the idea of tenacity, survival, and resilience, and then alchemizing that into more. A lot of us have, especially with the Morganic path, sort of begin our definition of this path by surviving, by being warriors, by getting through grueling, difficult, horrendous, horrifying times. But we have to be careful on the flip side of it not to become defined as only that. I think that's really important as part and parcel. Songs of Phantoms is Bave, which kind of naturally fell afterwards, given that warriors came first. And then there were a few different energies within there too, but it's mainly Babe. We've got some ancestry in there, some Valkyrie in there. It's mainly Babe. And then you have rituals for each section. So for the warrior, you have Ritual of the Woad Warrior. For Songs of the Phantoms, you have Ritual for Righteous Fury. Songs of the Healers is a ritual of grounding and cleansing with the Dark Goddess, and the ritual of sea salt and rose petals. There's actually 2 in the Healers. I felt that was quite important. Ritual of the Inner Witch is in Songs of the Witches, and in Songs of the Priestesses, which is channeling other goddesses. Did I leave that as it was? Yes, I might have left that as it was because it was channeling other goddesses. But I will say, in that one, you have Charge of the Dark Goddess in an overarching theme. Call of the Goddess Morrigan, channeling Lilith, channeling Persephone, Dance of the Goddess Morrigan, Dirty Holy, the Kaliach, and Tiamat. And I am going to do a second one of these for sure, because I still have a lot of poems, dedications, channelings from other goddesses that have been coming through. Since this book went into print, like I've heard from Angrboda and Hecate, which was really unexpected because Hecate doesn't tend to speak too much. And Skadi. And so I've already had about 5 or 6 different ones. So there will be a follow-up to this if anyone would like one. And then you have Songs of the Shapeshifter and the ritual in... Did I do a ritual for that one? Possibly. Ritual of Shapeshifting is in the Shapeshifter book section of the book. So there you go. Those are the different sections and why. Well, I guess we could cover a little bit more about why the different sections other than the Babe and the Morrigan one. So healing followed the Dark Goddess work. It kind of is a natural progression for me because a lot of dark healing work is done with Dark Goddesses after kind of the initial sundering. That can be the very difficult process, and after that we need to ground, we need to heal, we need to engage with our Phoenix selves, and that's why there is 2 rituals in the healing section. Songs of Witches is about empowerment, about who you are as a witch, and then again Songs of the Priestesses is channeling other goddesses. Shape-shifting is engaging with different animal energies through shape-shifting to better understand the self. I really love the energy of shape-shifting right now, and I'm working through that with people on Patreon, so I'm all about it right now. Some of these are very, very punchy. Some of them are more aggressive. Some of them are sweeter and more, lighter. There's a good mix of all that kind of poetry within this book. The rituals are not too structured. Some of them are quite simplistic. Some of them are a little bit more in depth. The Ritual of the Inner Witch, for example. Oh, God, goodness, I cannot get a break. The Ritual of the Inner Witch, for example, is very simple. And that's done on purpose because I want people to question who they are as a witch and take that energy into ritual with them. But some are a little more in depth. The Ritual of Salt and Sea Salt and Rose Petals is a little more in depth. But I didn't want the rituals to be the big selling point because the words, the channeling, the messages were the big selling point. So like later books will have more ritual work in them. But for these, those are the energies. And some people have already given me some really beautiful feedback. I know that one lady kind of passed the book to her daughter, and her daughter was reading it, and that was a moment where my heart just lifted because it was the next generation. I was like, that is amazing. That was a really beautiful moment. I've had some people who have already taken it into ritual space with them, and have done more than one ritual and have read from it when connecting to their own deity and had really strong experiences with it, which is beautiful. That kind of feeds into something that I already do for the store, because people take physical items into ritual. And now they're taking my woods into ritual with them too. And I was just blown away. I thought it was wonderful to be told that. So thank you to everybody who let me know how you've got on with it, which parts you've enjoyed, which parts have really spoken to you. Thank you for the people who've done reviews. It's a huge, huge help to me to hear about it, so other people can hear about it too. And it's just really, really generous of you guys. Thank you so much for doing videos and doing reviews and just doing shares of pictures and images and things on Instagram. Instagram has been off the chain, much better on Instagram than anywhere else. I don't know if you guys find that, but I find like Instagram is the most interactive place there is. Like I can actually see people rather than like Facebook, which like, oh, you have friends, we're hiding them, all of them. You can't see none of them. So this is just that video. That's just going behind the book a little bit. It was self-published and created by me. I did all of the work. I always do, other than the bits that some people helped me with. Chris helped me and Molly helped me. And they were helping me a little bit with some of the editing process as well, because certain little things just were like, and I'm very creative minded. So when things are like literally, I can't make it work. But Molly has published books too, so she helped me with that side of things, as well as her beautiful cover art. And Chris helped me in that regard, like she always does, plus giving me a soundboard and grounding. So a huge thank you to them, and my sister who has supported me throughout everything too. Your goddesses, truly you are. So that's going to be it for this particular video. I'm going to record a few, so you might get kind of bombarded soon with this wig and this lip, just so you know why there's a few of those. So that's going to be it for this particular video. Many blessings. Stay fluxy, everybody. See you later.